So many thanks. My name is Steve Mokaya for the Africana Voice. So I'm glad to have you on set. Just a brief introduction of who you are. I think you're best placed to tell us who you are.
Okay, so my names are Ekuru Aukot. I'm a lawyer by profession. I'm also party leader of the Third Way Alliance Kenya, a political party that is registered in 2016, and we participated in the 2017 general election. I was in the team of Kenyans that wrote our country's constitution, the 2010 one, and otherwise I'm a practicing advocate, in short, and I'm from the Kenya of the North, if that matters.
Yeah. Yeah. But why do you most often identify more with the Turkana than Kenyan, actually? Because even on your socials, you say so-and-so Turkana than Kenyan. So why?
Because I think one of the things that we have refused to accept in this country is that the celebration of our ethnic diversity, and we should not shy away from it. Because people who pretend that, you know, oh, let's not talk about tribe. No, tribe is very important. It's our identity.
Yes.
I think we should not shy away from celebrating our ethnic identities. I think the challenge normally I have, and sometimes that's why I insist. I even on my social handles, you see, I'm called son of a nomad. Because I want people to know that I'm proud of that nomadic pastoralist background, but of course I'm a Kenyan. I mean, I'm a Kenyan of Turkana extraction.
Yes.
You know, just like you are a Kenyan of Kisii extraction.
That's true.
Why should anybody? And after all, even if you look at, for example, the kind of issues that's happening in our country today, I mean, we identify with regions, we identify with counties,
with Murima.
So I see nothing wrong. I see nothing wrong with identifying with where we come from. I mean, none of us, I don't think you, Mokaya, wrote a letter to God to say that you want to be born at Kisii or in that region of Kisii. As a matter of fact,
I come from Nyamira.
Nyamira.
Yeah, it's
exactly.
also
Nyamira, yes.
Yeah.
So. And I've been to your county, Nyamira.
Kisii. No, most people
both. I've been to both.
Nyamira is Kisii.
I've been to both. Yeah, I've got very good friends there. Yeah. So I appreciate every part of this country. When I go to northern Kenya, go to the coast, go to the western, Luo Nyanza, you know, there's beauty in every. And you see, you go to a region, obviously you definitely can't avoid the fact that, oh, this is a region dominated by XY group. Yeah. Even in this Nairobi, we can say we are cosmopolitan in Nairobi. But truth be told, there are pockets, places that are colonized predominantly by certain communities and certain tribes. So for me, what I've deliberately decided to do is I want to celebrate that ethnicity, that our diversity as various ethnic groups. Okay? And we should not shy away from it, from speaking about it, but positively. Not negatively the way we are now being used to mobilize and say, oh, sisi watu wa Murima. There's a negative connotation there. You know, especially if it is coming from a certain leadership, you know, a category of certain leadership. You know, you're supposed to be a symbol of unifying and unity for the country. So let the villagers talk about those things, but not at the national level.
True. Actually, I saw there's a proposal, I think, it's either a proposal or something I saw on social media that there is a proposal that tribes should be removed from the IDs.
I disagree, totally disagree. I'm very proud to be a
promote, Turkana. I think the argument is to promote like the Kenyanness of...
But listen, Kenyans per se have no problem with each other. It's actually the political class that propagates that idea of negative ethnicity. There's nothing wrong with being a member of an ethnic group. I mean, what can you do about me having been born in Turkana and Kapedo, you know, son of a nomad? So you can't take away that identity from me. I disagree. That is part of my identity. The Kenyan identity is an abstract reality. The real identity really is you, Mokaya, being identified by your names, where region you come from, the language you speak, proudly so. Yes, we had Kiswahili, we had English, we should be proud of that, but you cannot tell me to now deny who I am.
Or to sort of pretend that it's not there.
Or pretend it's not there. It is there. It is there. I mean, look at even our politicians, even national leaders. They go to a place, a region they think the majority of the people are of that ethnic group, they start speaking that language.
It's true, yes.
Yeah? Why? Yeah. Yet you are a national leader. You should be speaking in the national languages that we have identified in the Constitution.
Yeah.
Because our Constitution recognizes our ethnic diversity. You know, it does.
Yeah.
You know, so unless you then amend the Constitution of Kenya, which is supreme law, you can't come administratively and tell us that now we're going to remove your identity. No, me, I want people to know I'm a Turkana, I'm from Turkana East, I'm from Kapedo, you know, from, you know, Kapedo, Napetom location. I want people to know that.
Oh, great. Yeah. And before we just swing to the main topic of this discussion, what is the, maybe your biggest memory or your best memory? Not, it doesn't have to be the best, but the most unique memory that you remember from your upbringing? Yeah.
Well, that's a very tough question, but I think for me, it is about how I ended up into acquiring education that I have, because I was reminded that my father, who then was just a nomadic pastoralist, did not go to formal school. So when the missionaries from Finland went to start a full gospel church in Kapedo, then they also decided to start a school. So my father with 3 other old men, because well, they were fairly rich by those standards because they had a lot of animals, they control a certain region. So they decided actually to fund the school.
Okay.
Yeah. They will provide food, which is meat, and then the hospital. And that's how I was told, then the missionaries came around to say, okay, you as is, we want you guys to give us your children so that we can start a school. And so this is how my elder brother ended up being in the Navy. Then, of course, we followed suit as a family. I mean, I'm from a very big family of 27 brothers and sisters. Yeah. My father was a very busy man with 4 wives. So he made sure that the biblical promise of go and fill the world was...
Yeah, it took it so literal.
Yes, he tried in his own small to fill that. So yeah, so when I remember about that, and actually, my father died when I was very young, so but I have that fond memory of my dad. Yeah. His contribution to education, and probably why, even though he was not educated himself, he didn't have formal education. Yeah. But obviously, he must have been a very wise man to see that I want to contribute to support the institution, but also the hospital by providing free meat and whatever. So that's a very fond memory I have of my father from Turkana East, and that's why me cannot take away that identity. You
cannot.
From me. You cannot.
So does that mean that you didn't go through the normal life of a child, African child, maybe going to the field, kulisha ng'ombe na kadhalika? Did you?
I think maybe when I was very young, I mean, I just had it, I think maybe goats, but I didn't really, because remember also I come from a region which is conflict prone. Yes. And I remember, so of course in that early childhood after my father died, so we actually got displaced because of conflict. So that's how I ended up living partly in Mogotio. This is Baringo constituency. We went to schools in Baringo, Mtongwe Primary, in Mombasa, ended up in Majimoto again, went back to Turkana again. I was truly nomadic even in my pursuit of education. Yeah.
Wow, okay.
So yeah, I mean, we were displaced. So I've lived in both worlds. Lived in Turkana, lived in Baringo, lived in Nairobi, of course, traveled also the world.
So you're Kenyan by...
I'm truly Kenyan.
Yeah, you're truly Kenyan.
Turkana, of Turkana extraction.
Yeah. Okay. And then how did you end up being the Third Way Alliance
party leader? Yeah. So in I remember it was 2014 thereabouts. I was working in Liberia as a constitutional advisor to Ellen Johnson Sirleaf at that time.
Yeah, really?
Through UNDP. Yeah. Oh. So I was advising the Constitution Review Committee of Liberia, but to the president. So I reflected very hard about my own, because that's a governance issue. Yeah. Basically, I find myself in the idea that as a constitutional lawyer who participated in the writing of Kenya's constitution, because I was the CEO of the COE in Kenya.
What's COE?
committee of experts.
Okay.
Yeah, that wrote the current 2010 constitution.
Yeah.
So I was the chief executive officer of the group.
Yeah.
And then I went to South Sudan. So I travel a bit in terms of during the Arab Spring, into Egypt.
But were you traveling under the United Nations or?
No. Initially, it was just on invitation.
Yeah.
Because of the role I played in the constitution-making process here in Kenya.
Okay.
So that's why I ended up in South Sudan as an advisor to SPLA on governance, and policy and planning. Then, of course, I ended up in Liberia, their constitution. So I went to Ghana, to many countries, including Tunisia, on the constitution-making process. So I think it was in Lesotho when I was doing a roadmap for Lesotho after that, the killing of that one of the president, then that 7-member coalition. And I had asked myself really a question. Here I am traveling the world trying to fix governance issues in other countries.
Yes.
But back home, our governance is also in a mess.
It's a mess.
It's a big mess. I mean, even the way we are governed. So I said, listen, I want to go and make a contribution. And it won't kill me. I won't die if I don't become Kenya's president or whatever.
Yeah.
But at least I want my voice to be heard. Just like the same way we go to the polling station on voting day. You cast your one vote, Mokaya.
Yes.
Yeah. You are making a contribution. But you will have satisfied yourself that I have contributed, made that decision. So for me, I said, what do I miss? I mean, what is short? What is my inadequacies to become Kenya's president? As a matter of fact, I believe at that time I probably was even more qualified than most of these people because they are mobilized around tribe.
Yes.
I come from a small tribe, yes, the Turkana, but I can address national issues. Unlike some of these fellows who now hide behind tribe and pretend that they are nationalists when they are not. They're actually tribalists because for them it is not for the tribe or maybe the numbers they enjoy and probably the money they have because Kenya's politics, as you know, is commercialized.
Really?
Yeah, it is. It is money. It's logistics. If you don't have enough money, even Kenyans themselves will say, hey, but because me, I remember when I first ran for president in 2027. Yeah. Some of my colleagues were asking 2017, sorry. Yeah. So some of my friends were asking me, hey, Ekuru, are you mad? Say, why? Why are you running for president? Why not? Don't I qualify? Yeah. I mean, I've got all the credentials.
You have the billions.
Yeah. That people asked about the money.
Yeah.
I said, no. The moment you start using money to seek a public office, Mokaya, you are a corrupt leader in the making. And that's how people recoup.
No, but basically you need money to do campaigns,
yes,
to move from one part of...
You do, but that's not what Kenyans want. Yes, you need to move around.
Yes.
But they will also tell you, like they say in my Nilotic brothers area, you have to go near us. You have to release us. So they will ask you for handouts. That's why handouts is part and parcel of our political making in this country. And that's why we end up with people who pass bad laws, you know, and then Kenyans complain about it because it's a character of our politics. So for me, I wanted to challenge that bigger narrative. People have asked me, why don't you go and become an MP? Look, even if I was today an MP from Turkana East, which is my constituency, first of all, you have pigeonholed me. Why don't you tell me to become an MP for Dagoretti North or become a governor for Nairobi? Why? Because you're already telling me, you as a Turkana, you won't sail through here. Go to your backyard.
Go to your people.
Go to your people, your village. So already there is a division. There's already a division. You're already characterizing us and saying, I don't belong here. And see, that's why I said, then the idea of being a Kenyan is an abstract reality. Because if you, Mokaya, decided I want to run here in Kileleshwa or in Lavington, people tell you, no, you go to Nyamira.
Go to Nyamira.
Go to Nyamira. Already they are telling you, you're not really Kenyan. You are first and foremost a Kisi from Nyamira.
Then Kenya comes next,
Kenya comes next. So that's why I like your first question. You know, we must start with our identity. And the moment people agree that actually we can celebrate that diversity, that celebration of diversity then is what might also give us a way to say, okay, I think we can listen to Mokaya. Yes, he's from Nyamira, but I think he has very good ideas. For example, look at what young man Kebaso Morara is doing. Maybe just decided, I'm going just to follow the failed projects. and showcased to people. This was launched this time. Money was spent here. So if Kenyans are actually serious, they should consider such a young leader. And some of us at our age now, we can just retire, wake up in the morning. I go back to law school and teach law and get consult and make some good money, travel the world, while young people are in charge of the country. I mean, I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind that. The reason I'm in politics, I mean, I'm proactive in politics because I feel it's bad for us to just keep quiet about what's happening in the country, including the shenanigans we are now being treated to on this impeachment thing of Rigathi Gachugua. It is not even clear why Rigathi Gachugua is being impeached. How do you say one individual is undermining devolution?
Actually, the allegations are so many.
So just one. They reduced them to 10. So I'm told there are 41, but they say they are concentrating on 10. Undermining the president, undermining devolution, I don't know, wealth accumulation. Come on. Wealth accumulation. Can Ruto today tell us that he's a Mark Zuckerberg or an Elon Musk? What industry does he run for the kind of wealth that I'm told we hear he has?
But he's been an MP since the 90s, you know?
So have many people. So I have no problem with you saying, let's declare wealth of all the leaders. It's fine. We all did wealth declaration. Even I did declare my wealth when I ran for 2017 because that was a requirement under ESCC. But can you now cherry pick and say, let's now pick Mokaya and question how did he acquire his wealth? I mean, it's public lynching, and for me, it's public lynching using the will of the people, the constitution. And I'm not excusing the fact that Gachagua should be impeached. But honestly...
So do you think he should be impeached?
I don't think he should be impeached. I think the person who should impeach is Ruto.
Why Ruto though?
He's the president of the Republic of Kenya. He has had false political promises. He cannot even account for his own wealth. You know, the same things that they're accusing Gachagua with. He is basically has relied on tribal mobilization to be where he is, you know, right from his backyard. Ruto is lucky that Nani picked him, Uhuru Kenyatta picked him as a deputy president for the sole purpose of mobilizing the Rift Valley vote.
Are you sure that's why he picked him?
Of course, even Gachagua was picked because we now want the block vote of Watu wa Mlima. And it's true they went and voted because they say, our son is the deputy in command. Let nobody cheat you. You know, one of the things that I don't really like about my country is the pretense. People pretend a lot, they're religious. You know, you pray in church, then after church service, you start insulting each other. You pray, you know, in political rallies, you pray before you eat food. But we are increasingly becoming a very dishonest society. And why is that the case? Because it's a leadership question. If today in my own house, I don't stand firm on certain issues, that this is how we must run this home. You must not do this, you will do this. So leadership is a value system that must cascade downwards. If from the very top, the leadership in itself is tribal, is just individualistic, is commercial, you know, then what do you expect? Like now, when you have got an inspector of police called Masengeli, the acting IG at that time, defying court orders, refusing to go to court 8 times, even though he's in Nairobi. Then he only takes one excuse, one day. Oh, I was in Wajir.
Was in Lamu.
Wajir, I don't know, Lamu, whatever the case may be. But he was always in the office. He could have just easily gone, explained himself, you know, that we are investigating the whereabouts of these 3 boys, you know, but he refuses to obey court orders. He is sentenced, still refuses to go to court. There is evidence that they're actually threatening the judge, that they wanted to know his whereabouts for what purpose, if it is not to kill him. Why are you looking for the judge's whereabouts? You're calling his driver, you're calling his bodyguard. Who are actually, I think, cops.
Actually, so they were withdrawn, I think. They were withdrawn.
No. The judge recused himself for what he called personal reasons or grounds. Whatever that means. But we are not stupid. we can piece together the evidence. I mean, as lawyers say that even the evidence is not very direct, you can actually rely on circumstantial evidence. And the circumstantial evidence shows that the judge must have been threatened. And therefore, he considered family or this thing. And that's how he abandoned. He recused himself. Yeah. So that's the kind of Kenya we have today. So you, a police officer, me as a lawyer, I want to rely on you to actually enforce a court order.
So are you saying that Masengeli was acting the way he did because of Ruto?
Because you see, for me, he was the president's appointee, even in acting capacity at that time.
Yes.
I don't want to say Ruto is the one who directed him.
Yeah.
But this is part of the executive and the executive arm of government, which is headed by President William Ruto. So, so in terms of accountability, in terms of the accountability taking orders, obviously, the head of the executive arm of government must be held accountable. Why is a person you put in charge of our national security and service behaving the way it is? Masengeli should be fired. In fact, he should be in jail, not even be fired. Yeah. Actually,
the sentence that he was given was set aside.
It was set aside, yes. But you see, set aside after what? He refused to go for sentencing. Then he was sentenced. And then all of a sudden we know, Mokaya, in this country, because I think it is true to say, Kenya or maybe Nairobi, Kenya, I think, is one big crime scene. Because of the way the political class is behaving, the way orders are being disobeyed. Me today, I can choose, if it was a chicken thief, by the way, somebody who's just stolen a chicken because maybe he's hungry, he wants to go and cook it, that guy will be in committee right now as we speak, or industrial. But guys in positions of power are actually abusing that position, abusing the office. They're not even respectful of the very, very law we expect them to enforce. That is the paradox of our country today. Before that, we had Kinoti, who refused to go to jail he was sentenced to 4 months. He just basically, I'm sorry to use he just basically showed Kenyans the middle finger. Mtadu.
I'm the boss.
The boss.
Yeah.
I'm in charge of investigation.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do to me.
Yeah.
And you see, that is now becoming a culture or a character of the Kenyan society, courtesy of the leadership that we have.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate.
Let's more of a detail talk about Gachagua and this impeachment, which is actually, I'm told it might happen next Tuesday, right?
Next Tuesday or tomorrow?
How do you think it's going to happen, and how is the showdown going to sort of...
So I'll be very honest with you, direct. Yeah? The impeachment of Gachagua is a waste of our time and resources as a country. Gachagua, I don't think, is any big problem in this country. In this country today, as we speak, there is every risk that our national airport, which is our gateway to the world, is being stolen, is being handed over to a crook called Adani, who is being investigated in many countries. It's been blacklisted. Our health sector, which has just collapsed, and if you've seen the CEO admitting that things are not working. Our power supply is being handed over. In other words, education system is in tatters in this country. Mukaya, people are not able to put food on the table. I don't know about you, but for some of us, maybe because people think, see us from that political of leadership, I get messages. People put you on WhatsApp groups. People send you messages and say, oh, send me 200 Kenya shillings, which is about maybe $1.
It's $1.
Yeah, which means I want to buy food for my children so they don't sleep hungry. 200. I don't know about where you fraternize, but as the places that I go, even for just my social meetings with my friends, or even for just a drink, I cannot buy anything with 200 bob. That is the state of our nation today. And for me, the state of the Kenyan nation is the state of the individual, the families, the people. Since this collapse of the health, and NHIF was deliberately collapsed so that somebody can make money. You give a foreigner 104 billion. Yeah. But you have got Kenyans at Kenyatta National Hospital who cannot afford dialysis. I mean, go to Kenyatta National Hospital and you'll see the state I'm talking about. You have dispensaries that cannot even stock, Panadol. So, if you look at all those issues I've listed, including national debt, including even our own issues of cohesion as a country, the political rivalry that is threatening actually to affect the fabric of our society, vis-a-vis the so-called proposed impeachment of Gachugua, honestly. Parliamentarian, today I was in a show this morning with two senators, the senator from Migori, Ekuru Aukot, and the senator from Makueni, Dan Mahanzo. And they all said the leadership of Kenya has actually failed this country. And they said Parliament, in particular, has actually failed this country. And then, of course, the executive. So you want to entertain us to a charade of impeachment of a deputy president, who is even just, by the way, just an assistant to the president. That's what the Constitution says. He's just a principal assistant to the president.
True.
And if you honestly had a disagreement, and you all, by the way, the two of them pretend to be very religious people. Ruto, I even saw Ruto preaching in Haiti and singing, songs in Haiti.
Jews went to see the police.
When he went to see the police. So what is so difficult if you're a religious person? Call your brother Gachugua and tell Gachugua, we are Christians, we are religious people. Kwa nini tunakosana? Kushida wapi? Si tunasameana. Let's forgive each other. Or, let's apologize to the nation because you are the symbol of leadership. Today, God forbid, if Ruto collapses dead today, this morning as we speak, Gachugua becomes our president. Or even if we can even decide I'm resigning, I've had enough. The next person to be our president is Gachugua. By law, by the constitution, by the will of the people of Kenya. In the absence of the two of them, Wetangula, of course, will take over for a period of 60 days to organize an election. So why can these two individuals, for the sake of the country, sit down and say, you know what, if, by the way, you know what's shocking to me? If Ruto can make peace with Raila, somebody has called him all the nasty names.
For a very long time.
For a very, very long time. He's a thief, he's this and that. He has called Raila Mganga, Mtu Kitendawili, all those things. If he can make peace with somebody who has been like almost an arch-rival enemy for a period of time. Why can't you make peace with the person you selected to be your deputy? Why?
Just about 4 years or 3 ago.
2 years. We only talk about 2 years. There are 2 years just the other day in September. So why can't you make peace with a person like that? Who you yourself chose. I mean, I don't know how true it is. They say that during the selection of a deputy running mate for the president, Kindiki got more votes than Gachugua.
Actually, there's been that talk.
We don't know, but we don't have any empirical evidence on it. But Ruto, in his wisdom or lack of it, decided, I'm going to pick Gachugua. So this must have been somebody who must have had a very intimate conversation. You must have looked close to yourself somewhere in a room and said, I think you and I, we can deliver this ticket. So why can't you talk? And stop wasting our time with this shenanigans. And then now refocus your mind to the problems that are actually affecting Kenyans. The failed political promises of 2020, actually from 2013, because you cannot excuse Ruto, because he's been deputy president for 10 years. He can't be excused for the failures of Jubilee. He can't be excused for the national debt because he never spoke about it. It was part and parcel of the whole thing. Those are the pressing issues, Mokaya. I mean, I think I even suggest that we don't talk about this impeachment anymore. Can we talk about how we can fix Kenya?
So actually, if it sails through, do you think that it will sail through? Because I
don't think it will.
But only 291 MPs have.
Those are just signatures because of political expediency. But I think when it comes to the real debate and maybe voting, I think I hope they will prick their conscience and say, is this really what I came to do here as a people's representative?
Really?
I'm an optimist. Because I love this country a lot. So I'm an optimist, and I'm hoping that one time there'll be very good leaders who can actually fix the problems in this country.
Actually, I've seen Kenyans online saying maybe this impeachment is sort of a decoy or something just to distract.
It's diversionary. It's diversionary to the many issues that are on the table, especially the hot issue of Adani, the health, the collapse of the health sector, the failure, the unemployment. In fact, if you look at the newspapers today,
yes,
we have got Kenyans stranded in Lebanon. What are we doing as a country?
Yeah.
They say they are homeless in Lebanon, in an Arab country that is not very peaceful.
Yeah.
So, I mean, a serious nation and a serious leader will airlift those guys ASAP.
Like the US does. Actually, the US does.
The US will even go for one person, for one of their nationals.
Yeah.
And yet we keep on running to the US, talking to them about loans, talking about them, but we don't even emulate a little thing that they do in terms of just protecting their own national citizens. You know, we have Kenyans being killed every other day in Saudi, you know, being persecuted, stranded everywhere. I worked in Liberia between 2014 and 2016. That was the time of Ebola. Yeah, that was a very deadly disease.
Yeah.
Luckily for me, because I was working for the UN and partly the government of Liberia, so we had a lot of protection, we have good health cover. But there were Kenyans who were there, I remember it was about 30 of them. Yes, kawaida Kenyans that really had come to look for opportunities. They were stranded. Yeah. Because that time, remember, everything had collapsed, no air transport. I mean, as we could get a UN plane, drop us to, you know, whatever, and we'll pick the next plane. These guys, there was no mode of transport, they didn't have money. I mean, I reached out to our government at that time. Yeah. I reached out to our foreign minister at that time, Ambassador Amina Mohammed. I reached out to the Ministry of Health, told them, listen guys, this is a crisis. These are the Kenyan nationals. A Kenyan national, a national of any country, is an extension of the jurisdiction of that country, wherever that person is. So you have to really look after them at a time of crisis, especially when it comes to humanitarian crisis. Yeah. What is your country doing to you? Yeah. We really have a collapsed and a failed system in this country. And unfortunately, the people right now in charge of the country are doing nothing about it. Yeah. Because for them, all they are concerned about is, how much money did you make in the last 2 years? Why are you not asking, how much money did Mokaya or Ekuru make in the last 2 years? Or that man in the village who actually voted for you? Yes. How come you're not asking that question? Because you should be asking that question. Yeah. Is the state of your economy, has your state of the economy improved? Are you able to take your children to school? Yeah. Are you able to treat them? You know? Yeah. Are you able to even put food on the table? Basic things. These are your constituents, these are your representatives. We are not asking that question, but you're asking questions about multi-billionaires, you know, how they acquired money, but you're also not, the person asking is also not telling us how he himself or herself also acquired the billions that they have. This double speak has to stop, and because it's just a corrupt system.
Actually, speaking about the collapse of the Kenyan, like, I mean, so many things are in shambles, to be honest. And actually, before the impeachment debate came to the national, sort of phase, so there was the issue of university funding model. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Actually, which has been it's been a very hot issue, and so many people right now. I know several children.
I will help you. Let me help you. Yeah. I've been a chairman. I've served in 2 councils of universities. Yes. The University of Nairobi, as just a member. Yeah. And I've chaired JKUAT Council as a chairman. Yes. For 3 years. I will tell you this. Our education system, especially at the higher level, is completely been devalued. It's gone down. Number one, students are not even able to afford fees. Yeah. You can see government of the day is now even characterizing the funding itself. The bands. The bars, you are band 4, band 1, band 2.
Actually, there are 4 categories.
Yeah, 4 categories. Yeah. I'm telling you, in a serious country with serious leadership, education is the biggest investment. You asked me earlier of my background, where I come from, Turkana. Yes. The reason, Mokaya, you are speaking to me right now is because education has equalized us. Yeah. Yeah? As we went to school at that time when education was free, we were even being fed. Those days. Yes. Yeah? So, any country that is serious in terms of prosperity and development must first and foremost invest in education of its people. Then you must now link that education to industry. Yeah. To inventions and, you know, and all those things. Yeah. And that's how our country will prosper. Yeah. But in Kenya today, honestly, education is not being taken seriously. A lot of kids sleep hungry. If you have a hungry stomach, how do you study? You can't.
how is this new funding model coming to solve those issues?
And what is wrong with the old funding model? What was wrong with it?
It was said,
you see, one of the things about our country, and for me now, as a constitutional lawyer, you know, in governance, there is always need for you to account. Explain your policy decisions. But even explaining your policy decisions must make sense. Not just telling us, you know, let's shift from NHIF and to SHIF. What was wrong with NHIF? In fact, NHIF was more effective in my view. Because you will go to a hospital and they will even tell you there's even a section for NHIF. You know, today's SHIF is a mambo jumbo. It's a mongrel of whatever it is. And why? Our education system is totally confused. I would rather we even go back to 844.
So you don't support the CBC?
What is, I mean, you know, even I talk to teachers. I have good friends who are teachers. They tell me even they themselves are struggling with this CBC because they were not even trained into the system. Remember the way we used to train, we go to teachers' colleges, training colleges. So obviously we taught even about the curriculum of the 844 system. Where was the training for CBC? Teachers will tell you, we don't even know. It's a confused system that is just cut and paste because I don't know, somebody bought the idea it was based in, is it Canada? I don't know, some country. Total confusion. So we have a confused education system, confused or no healthcare system. We have a confused leadership. The economy, we can't even discuss about it. You know, we've got all these political shenanigans running around. So the question then, do we really have a country? We may have the geographical location called Kenya, but what about the country called Kenya? It's a bigger question.
And what about devolution? Moving to devolution, do you think it's working? Juicy, I saw you posted on your Twitter or X a photo of a dispensary. Basically, it was a shed under a tree, and people are there.
In Turkana.
In Turkana, And you say these are even after devolution it's in Kenya. So, what's your view about devolution? It's about a decade plus.
Devolution is a great idea. In fact, that's one of for me, the biggest geniuses of our constitution. It's a good idea because remember that if I take you back memory lane, during the era of KANU and leadership of President Moi, Moi will blatantly say, if you are not in KANU, you will not see any development. I mean, you can research that. So there are regions that are actually deliberately marginalized. And that's why in the Constitution, in the writing of the Constitution, we deliberately said, okay, you know what, all the 47 counties of Kenya, which are formerly districts, by the way, let's create them as second level of government, called devolved government, and then we allocate resources to them. Then we also created in Article 204 what we call the Equalization Fund. Now, the Equalization Fund is meant to say that you people of Turkana, because you have been marginalized for the longest time, we want you to bring you a little bit at par with Kiambu, Nairobi, in terms of certain basic things, water, road, health, infrastructure.
The amenities,
the amenities. Basically, that will give you some degree of human dignity for you to be able to live in. So we did that deliberately. But unfortunately, what is emerging is that counties now are become conduits for theft of public resources. Because all you need to do, Mokai, is go and read the Auditor General report. They are all thieves in equal measure. Just like the national government. So, if you are a leader from your county and you claim that for many years you are marginalized, and you are now given billions, by the way, billions of money. We're not talking millions, billions. You need to fix those things that undermine the equity or the equality between your people and the rest of Kenya. So, while devolution is a brilliant idea, a conveyor belt for us to share the national cake, because that was a problem before. Now we are not holding the people in charge of the counties accountable. We are not. And that's why people are saying, I think devolution is failing.
So
no,
is that a failure of the Senate?
Devolution is not failing. It's a failure of leadership.
The Senate, to be specific, Ama?
The Senate, the problem I have with the Kenyan Senate, and that's why even in one of our proposals, we are suggesting we just need to dissolve the Senate. Because the Senate, one of the things I've observed about the Senate is that when, for example, there is a the Auditor General findings on how money has not been spent properly in a county X, the Senate converts those findings into audit queries. And they start inquiring afresh. I don't even think those reports should go to the Senate, in my view. They should go straight to DCI and the Office of the DPP for immediate charging or immediate investigation, or go to EACC. So that's the only way we can fix theft of public money in this country. But the question, the bigger question is that I think everybody is a thief, only that they don't have an opportunity to steal.
Really?
Because if you think from the government, from the national government, look at all the departments of government, and look at all the department of county governments. Kila mtu ni mwizi. They're all stealing. I mean, the evidence is there. Why aren't people being charged for theft or public money? Because this is money that belongs to the people of Kenya. Yeah. Yep.
So is that a failure of the judiciary or the investigative agencies?
No, the judiciary cannot. The judiciary cannot initiate a prosecution. You know, they are the judges. They are the arbiter. So it is the executive that should actually initiate that theft, and parliamentarians should be able to push for it for purposes of accountability, for purposes of representing their constituents. They should be able to say, no, in my constituency, which has X number of wards, why isn't piped and clean water there by dint of Article 43 of the Constitution? Why aren't health facilities not working? You know, so the people's representatives have failed. The executive, which is the government of the day, has actually failed. So you can't blame the judiciary unless you take evidence to the judiciary and say we have found evidence good enough to convict Mokaya or Ekuru, and then they fail to do it, then we can blame them. You know, until we exhaust, of course, all the mechanisms.
Okay. Actually, you talked about Punguza Mizigo, and it just reminded me. Actually, myself, I knew you around that time because of Punguza Mizigo, which almost became a success, and it was it had really brilliant ideas. And so I'm wondering, do you have maybe, do you think of maybe reviving such a
so there are a lot of requests for me to bring it back. But you see, last time when I brought Punguza Mizigo and it went to all the 47 counties, I did my best. I traveled at least to 27 counties to pitch for it. And in all the 27 counties, they all received. It was well received. And people, they even had to do a mock question where it was a yes. But the people who killed Punguza Mizigo was Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga because of BBI. The BBI process. Remember that time, they had the BBI in Bomas, and we had Punguza Mizigo almost running parallel.
Oh, true,
So the Building Bridges initiative.
Yes, true.
So they saw it as a political competition. They think that it was going to popularize me and all that. So to answer your question, I am happy to bring Punguza Mizigo back. In fact, I've even amended it further to tighten some of the things, you know, including an amendment now to Article 1 of the Constitution where Kenyans can exercise their power directly. How they can exercise that power directly by way of sacking a government through a vote or a referendum, whatever the case may be. But I can bring Punguza Mizigo back, but I would like Kenyans to own it. Because I'm not desperate to be identified.
How so now?
Well, embrace it. Push for your MCS, push for your MPs to endorse. Because for me, it was about reducing the cost and the governance, the burden of governance in our country. Which is what people are talking about right now.
So do you feel that right now Kenyans have a lot of leaders who were elected, and maybe those positions are taking a lot of the money that should maybe go to Kenyans?
We don't need women rep positions. We don't need nominations. We don't need a bloated parliament. You know, we don't need many of the constitutional commissions. You know, we need to fix thieves of public money. We need to simplify how we vote. Today, we transact M-Pesa probably upwards of 20 billion daily. We trust our phones to send money to people. Sometimes we don't even know. So what is so special about just us going to vote on that day? Because we use technology to actually garner the signatures. Under Article 257. So why don't we just simplify? Those are all proposals we suggested, and we are going to save this country 3.5 trillion Kenya shillings. Which is actually what is our budget today. By just reducing the cost of our governance, and we divert that money to health, to education, to roads, to water.
But don't we need representatives, like we Kenyans?
We do, but we don't need a lot of them. We don't need, because right now, the representatives we have, what is the quality of that representation? They are actually an extension of the office of the president. Because the president bought even members of the opposition so that he can have majority in parliament. Remember, Azimio la Umoja had majority in Bunge.
Yeah, that is true.
So UDA, Kenya Kwanza did not have majority. But the first thing that Ruto did was to go to parliament, compromise members of the opposition, and that's why you had that problem in ODM about some of its members shifting, working with the president. But it's a laughing, they are all a laughing stock because today, Kenya Kwanza and Azimio are in bed together.
So there's been Mandamano, the Gen Zs have come really to the fore, the protesting about the state of this country. And then shortly after, Raila joined the government. And do you think that killed the morale of the young people?
I'll tell you something that people don't want to say publicly. There's a group of Gen Zs that actually went to see Raila. And first of all, I like the idea of the Gen Z movement because it shows you there is a generation of Kenyan society now that want actually to take and proactively participate in the governance of their country. And if you look at some of the issues that they are asking, including about accountability, I participated in one of the demonstration myself. And of course, we were tear gas. I say, why? Be that as it may, there's a group of the Gen Zs that actually went to see Raila to ask for his support. At that time, I think when things were looking a bit thick. Then the next thing we know, Raila is making the announcement that we are ready to talk. The Gen Z did not want to talk. And that's why they said, how can we talk with somebody who has abducted us, who has killed us, who has not accounted for, our resources? So that's a big question. It was a big question. So, and that's how the Gen Z movement was neutralized, Kiasi. But I hope they can come back.
Do you think they'll come back as
they
the
should?
Force of the head?
In my view, they should come back. And I see, for example, people like Kebaso Morara has even now registered a party called Inject.
He did, actually.
So I hope they can choose either to join Morara, or start their own other party. But they cannot afford to say we are leaderless.